What up, y'all? It is Golden Spaces, an Odyssey original podcast with Justin and Nat. And we are here after game one of Warriors Lakers. Lakers take the first game. I gotta tell you, I felt like I knew that was gonna happen. You said it was a possibility of happening. It's annoying, but I'm really not too down about it. There's always that part of me that feels like I helped cause it because, my arrogance. I mean, I've always been arrogant, you know that. But because now I'm on TV now, it's like you feel like you're giving people fodder. I'm not like big time, but certain people see me. They apparently have me blocked. So, but yeah, I mean, so everything that we said needed to happen happened. They just came up a little bit short. Like we were like, really need Steph's guys to show up for him tonight, because of all the energy he put forward. And they did for the most part. And then he kind of got going in the second half, late second half. Kerr made the necessary adjustment, I think a little too late in the game. One, putting the ball in Steph's hands, and two, with defense, they went zone. What'd you think about that?
I like it. They also went small.
Yeah.
Which I think is what they should do going forward anyway.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think if they went small a little bit earlier, put Draymond on AD, then the Warriors probably win this game. But
he was in foul trouble too. He has to not get into foul trouble. And I didn't appreciate things like him costing us a tech. I'm like, you're going to cost us a tech, you better guarantee a win because we're down. It's at a pivotal point because it was like, I think, 7 points right then. So then he gave them the free throw. That's 8. And then they got the regular free throws. So now you're back up 10. It's like, you're trying to make the comeback right now, you know? So I wasn't feeling that. But look, they're arrogant too. They think they can just give away games. I don't think they were trying tonight. I love that they didn't get deflated when they were down 10. They tried to come back. They wanted to win this game. They really did. And that was good to see. And it also seemed like they figured some things out in the end, So that's always a good thing to see. Obviously, the Lakers will adjust, depending on how the next game goes. But, the Warriors, when they figure things out, that usually means series done. I'm not saying the series is over at this point, but historically, once they kind of figure out how they need to play you, they're usually pretty good. So, it just sucks. I wish that they could have, gotten the win. Always a nice way to start off the series, but they just have to make sure they definitely win the next game and don't go down 2-0 again. And then they'll have to go to Staples and get a split there, which is sort of what you called, Justin. You were like,
split the first 4, split and chase.
Split, yeah.
Split and split.
When I was asking, I was like, you think it's going to be 2-2 or a split and split? And when you thought about it, you were like a split. So you were spot on.
Not yet, but hopefully we split here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping they're gonna come back and play that game like it's a must win.
For sure.
And also you're not getting another. Anthony Davis is not having that kind of game again next game. The Lakers had 3 nights of rest, bro.
Right.
They had 3 nights of rest. He couldn't even do that in the last series. It was like every other game.
Right.
So,
and I mean, even LeBron tonight looked like he didn't have 3 nights of rest. It looked like he just played 2 nights ago or last night.
Right.
So, yeah, we gonna start to see, the playing field leveled out a little bit more as far as fatigue going forward in this series. Yeah.
Do you think we'll get some Kuminga in next game? I was surprised to not see him tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he should play over Dante in this series, especially if Dante's not going to be a factor as far as shooting the ball. I don't feel like Dante necessarily played bad. Like he did have a few steals in there. He had some rebounds, making passes. But I think Kuminga's athleticism and his length could, bother guys a little bit more on the perimeter defensively. And I
He
do
also can
think,
get fouls.
and he can draw fouls. Exactly. Go like, and this is something that Marcus hinted at on the timeline today about just going at AD, trying him a few times. If you go up kind of soft or trying to avoid him, he's going to block your shot. If you try to hook it around him and stuff, he's going to block your shot or alter it. If you go through his chest, it's a 50-50 at that point. Either they can call a foul, he might block you, you might finish it, but that's the only way with a guy like AD or any other rim protector. You got to either go into their chest fully or, just don't challenge them at all. But you can't try to go scoop around and all this other stuff. And I think Joku is one of the few people on the team who can legitimately challenge him at the rim with his athleticism and his finishing ability and have a good shot at, yielding some good results.
Yeah, I hope Kerr considers it because I don't expect the free throw discrepancy to be what it was tonight, which is the Warriors only had
Insane.
6. And how many did the Lakers have?
The Lakers shot 29 free throws and the Warriors shot 6. They made 20 more free throws.
And won by 5 points.
Now, noted, the Lakers shot 6 for 25 from 3. They aren't a great shooting team, but I think they're going to shoot better from 3 going forward. And the Warriors shot 21 for 53 from 3, which that's probably not sustainable. But
if they can find a way to bring AD out to the perimeter,
then the lane should open up more, for
right?
Sure. Yeah, and that starts with Steph on the ball, crawling for some screens at the top of the key.
Yeah, because in fairness to them, they were trying to get to the rim. They were getting blocked or their shots were getting altered or, so they were trying, but I'm like, I know the answer isn't going to be like, you guys just got to keep making threes. Cause after a while, Clay started to be short, you guys weren't making them. You just needed a way to get,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe would have liked a few more middies, but it is what it is. So yeah, I still don't really think their role players are gonna they'll make more threes, but I don't think they're gonna be able to come and chase and shoot the way they would at Staples, or something like that. So
yeah,
I think the Warriors should be able to get the win next game. And they again, what I love to see is that there was no we fell back down 10 and they kind of they were still trying to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to feel like they let one go.
I think they did, but it's not, the end of the world, but I think they had a golden opportunity to take this game. If they went to the lineup that they went to at the end of the game a little bit earlier,
right,
then I think we would have saw the game flip earlier and they would have more time to really extend that run.
Right. So it's just a little bit too late to get there. So, and I want them to stop. I love Looney and I appreciate all of the extra possessions, but this trying to dump off to him to do something at the it has to be the smallest person in the world on Loon. And even then, he may not but you dumping it off to him to go challenge Anthony Davis. Or there's no chance of that going in, 0%.
Yeah.
And even when it's the little guy, he's going to stop, pump fake, gather, and then the little guy's going to get a chance to knock it out of his hand or something. Just
right.
It has to be nobody there, y'all. Why don't they know that?
I don't know. I think they do it, but it's just a certain point when they run those sets, you just gotta give it to them. That's the only outlet, and you just hope something goes differently at that point. But yeah, I agree. You can't give it to them in those positions with Anthony Davis. But even he can take a power dribble into AD's chest and see what happens, all that pump faking stuff is done for. That shit is not going to work against that man. But yeah. Switch it up. I mean, Draymond got to finish too.
Yes.
3 for 9 from the field. He missed like 3 bunnies, layups.
Throwing
Kind
them
of
up
like
wild. They're letting the threat of AD like scare them out of making
that's what I'm saying.
Like actually try to make the fucking shots.
Right.
Because you're trying to do all this stuff ahead of time to alter your shots and this and that, and it's go at him.
Thank you. Like I said, a few pods ago against Memphis, they were doing the same thing with Jaren. And then game 6 against Memphis last year, Draymond was just going to Jaren's chest. And he had a good game. Like, he was finishing his layups. I want to say he had 14, 15 points. He can do the same thing, to AD. He probably won't be scoring 15 points, but he can get a 10, 11, because in those instances, it also tires AD out. If you consistently challenge him, and his legs are going to be zapped for the offensive end. And if his legs are zapped on offense, they are cooked.
Right.
They are done. You know what I mean? We see Wiggins bothers LeBron on the perimeter. He makes him settle for jumpers a lot. He shot 8 threes. LeBron is just, you can just tell he just not, he doesn't have the same pop as LeBron has had in the past. A lot of his points are in transition, off cuts when people are going to sleep, and he just cuts behind them. He's not creating a lot with the ball in his hands and like really doing a ton. He gets his post ups every now and then, but he's not the same guy that's going to just kill you for 35, 40 points in a playoff game consistently over the course of a series anymore. So if you stop AD, I think you have a really good chance, and not even stop him, but limit him to like 24 points instead of 30. Like if you do that, then you have a really good chance. And then you just can't allow guys like Schroeder to give you an efficient 19. You can't allow D'Angelo Russell to give you a semi-efficient 19 as well. Like that's almost 40 points from those two dudes. Like, come on, man. They're okay, right, but they shouldn't be combining for no 40 against you in the playoffs, bro. That's crazy.
Well, Jordan Poole was better than Reeves tonight.
I mean, we all know he's better than Reeves.
I want to do my Jordan 1 Reeves 0 tweet, but I couldn't because we lost.
I know, like, especially if he would have hit that shot, send it to OT.
I know, that's what I wanted so bad for him. I mean, look, there was still some things he did that wasn't good, but like that's just part of him being young and developing. But It was a pretty good game for him.
It was. I mean, he was a +7. He was the only Warrior with a positive plus. Oh, Clay was +1. But in 30 minutes, no turnovers, 6 assists, 21 points. He had 6 threes. He did have 5 fouls, and I agree. One of the few things I agree with Stan Van Gundy, who's annoying as fuck on the thing. But
yeah.
He's just saying like Jordan just gives up fouls in transition sometimes because he has no intention of even trying to play defense without fouling and trying to get a stop. He has to stop that because especially when the other team's in a bonus because you're just gifting them free throws. So
and learn how to, like, if you're going to jump and contest, learn how to fall so you're not falling into people. Then he puts up his hands like, what happened? Nigga, you just fucking, like, come on. This is not a what did I do? Like, you literally fell into the person.
Right. So he just got to be better defensively. Even if he isn't as good offensively, I think it'll help the team more if he, just was a little bit smarter on the defensive end. Because I do think he was playing hard. He just sometimes he directs his energy towards, boneheaded things on the defensive end. So he just got to clean that up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, look, that shot, let's just talk about that really quickly that he took because like people are like trying to go in on him, but I don't have a problem with the shot.
I don't either. It was 10 seconds left. They were rotating over to him, so there was really no chance for him to take a dribble forward and shoot a 3. He has a slower release, so I don't think he's like one of those guys like Steph who could take a quick dribble forward. And I mean, Steph would have shot it from there too anyway. But yeah, I don't really have an issue with that shot. He hit 6 threes up to that point. Steph was doubled at half court. They could have tried to get it back to Steph, but what are the chances that you would get it back to him and for him to get a good shot off in that time? It just felt like a riskier play to try that. So it is what it is. If he made the shot, everybody would be cheering for him.
Right. I mean, I don't feel like on a night like this when he's hitting, I feel like it's okay even from that range.
Right.
Um so I really didn't have a problem with the shot and he was wide open.
Wide open. Like it was a deep three, but like we've seen Jordan hit those threes. And he was wide open and he was
Yeah,
hitting.
it wasn't
So
even like it was sort of contested or anything. It's like,
butt naked
you
open.
know,
So
so I
make
mean,
it mentally
I wish it would have gone in too. And people are acting like it was not like way off or anything
right.
crazy.
That's what I
Like
was about to say. Like it was
I don't
a good
understand why
shot
people are acting. It's just because they got a thing for him now.
for sure.
It's just because they got a thing for him now. Because the moment the game started, it was the tweets about him, and then like he settled into the game and started hitting shots. I'm just like, y'all are so goofy, yo.
Right. Yeah, I think this is a series where Jordan can really have some success because the Lakers guards are not that great defensively. So he's not coming onto the court and seeing a Davion Mitchell guarding him. It's D'Angelo Russell and Reeves and all these guys who are going to give him shots. So
Right.
I think this is going to be a good Jordan series. They just got to do a little bit better as a team defensively on the Lakers guards because they kind of cooked them. That's just not it.
Yeah, I'm looking. They showing Steph's reaction,
Yeah,
and then them not getting the jump ball either.
that was crazy. That was crazy. I mean,
I wonder what the L2M is gonna show. Whatever, it don't matter. But um yeah, Lakers. I mean, the Lakers were at this point in time, the Lakers have done what they're supposed to do, which is come in and try to steal one on the road. But the Warriors just got to go on the Staples and do that.
I think they will.
Crypto.
I think they
And
will. I mean, I
we
tweeted. I
had
think this.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say. I think this series kind of it reminds me of the Boston series last year. Boston stole Game 1 in Chase Arena.
Hmm.
Then they made the adjustment to put Draymond on Jaylen Brown, which I think they're going to put Draymond on Anthony Davis. Don't let Al Horford, or in this case, D'Angelo Russell or Dennis Schroeder go off again. And it's going to be hard for the Lakers to score enough points to beat the Warriors. So yeah, I'm getting Boston vibes right now. But if that's the case, they will blow them out in Game 2, which I hope is what happens.
Yeah, I mean, they got to win the next game, and they definitely got to split one on the road. And I would like it if they somehow went in there and took the first game in LA.
Mm-hmm. Takes pressure off.
Mm-hmm.
If you do that. Yep, gives you home court advantage back again. So yeah, we're just hoping for games 2 and 3 in the bag.
Yeah, and then part of the reason when I look at the series and I say Warriors in 5 is because it was a similar thing with the Kings. Though they didn't have home court advantage in that series, but I just felt like if they didn't get it done in 5, then it was going to go 7. So it's just like, yeah, they got to get games 2 and 3 because if the Lakers get the 4th game and it's 2-2, I can see you maybe winning 2 games in a row, but you're not going to win 3 games in a row. It's probably unlikely.
I don't know. You said that last series.
Yeah, but this is not the Kings. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
I don't know. I mean, I think they can beat this team 3 times in a row. I'm not gonna lie. I just don't see how the Lakers score enough points if the
Right,
Warriors
because they got aided tonight with free throws, but the free throw discrepancy is going to continue. It just won't be this large.
Right. And I'm saying Schroeder and D'Angelo Russell just walked into layups at varying points of the game. I don't think that happens. I think they're tightening up the defense a little bit. Even on LeBron just backdoor cut Wiggins like 2 or 3 times tonight and just got easy layups. I think Wiggins was a little bit not as locked in as he possibly could be. So
Yeah. They had
yeah,
like one night to prep. So they're going to be crisper for the
yeah.
next game. Just is what it is. The Lakers had three nights off. Time to watch them play, finish out that other series. LeBron has played them before. So like this was the easiest of the games probably for them to steal.
Mm-hmm.
And you just see, I already had some people responding to my video from earlier. Not anything here, but the other one I put out because I said I called the Lakers that cute little team. I said that cute little team Braun has around him. They're not battle tested. They don't have the experience.
They ain't.
People tell me, oh, everybody, but they say Reeves has like playoff experience. I'm like, bro, stop it. Like it's in comparison to the Warriors and their playoff experience. Like, what are we doing? But I actually was, I was being a little condescending, but it's when we first discussed it, I still don't think the Lakers are like that great of a team, So you nailed it with Vanderbilt being on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I love it because it's always like, oh, XYZ is guarding him great. And, people always think like, we do this every series. There's someone who's discovered the way to guard Steph in game one. It's just so funny to me by this point.
Like, come on, man. Steph really got any shot that he wanted. He could have been a little bit more, efficient, but I think that was him kind of adjusting to AD being there
Yeah.
on the inside and just kind of the aggressiveness of Vanderbilt. I think over the course of the series, that'll lighten up a little bit, and he'll, get to his spots a little bit better and make the shots. But
Yeah.
he ain't.
Some
He
of
ain't
their
tripping.
some of their shots, both him and Clay, they were a little rushed, and so that's sometimes like too strong.
Mm-hmm.
So I was happy to see. I really wish they could have got it done tonight because you had a pretty good from your supporting cast. So it really was just the adjustments. If they could have just come a little bit sooner in the
Yep,
game.
I agree. Which means, they should hopefully start the next game with those adjustments and, try to get out to a big lead early and then just kind of cruise from that point on.
Yeah, because every other night, boy. So they
Mm-hmm.
really need to try to get game 3, though.
Yeah. Yeah, they should. I don't really think the every other night thing is going to affect them as much as it's going to affect the Lakers. AD played 44 minutes.
Tonight?
LeBron played 40. Reeves played 39. Like, they're going to wear down over the course of this series. Especially if the Warriors go small and pick up the pace. We saw AD and LeBron were gassed at the end of this game.
That's what I'm saying. People were like, they were like, no, the Lakers do want to play fast. They keep trying to challenge me on this. I'm like, they do not want to. I said, I understand that they're top 10 in fast breaks, but like they don't want to play like that the whole game, entire time. They can't keep up with that.
Right. When they get the ball in transition, like if AD blocks a shot or something, sure, they want to get out quick because they don't want to play against the Warriors' half-court defense.
Right.
But in general, the Warriors are okay playing fast in both directions, on defense and offense. Like,
right.
So, I think the Lakers do not want to play like that. And we'll start to see a little bit of slippage from AD and LeBron as the series goes on if they're going to continue to play pretty much the whole game. Yeah.
And that they had to play the whole game. What were the minutes total tonight for our guys?
Steph was the highest with 38. Clay 37. Wiggins and Draymond 34 apiece. Draymond was in foul trouble. Looney 29. JP 30.
And they almost won it.
And they almost won. Yeah, I think a few more minutes of Steph probably would have
or adjusting earlier.
right put in Draymond on AD earlier. And I made this point before the series even started that I didn't want to see Loon on AD. I think AD is a little bit too quick for Looney off off the spins and all that type of stuff. And AD's release point in this jump shot is really, really high. And we all know Looney is not a jumper. Like he's not a
Right.
leaper, so he can't really contest that shot. So AD was hitting a lot of jumpers on him. Whereas with Draymond is quicker laterally than AD is, so he can beat him to any spot he wants to dribble to. He also has quick hands, so AD's not going to really do any dribble moves on him. He has to go strictly back to the basket. And when AD tries to shoot over him, Draymond has the jumping ability and the length to challenge that shot at the top of his release. So, it's just tough for AD to consistently score on Draymond and ISO. And I think that's going to really muck up the Lakers' offense. So I think that's just an easy adjustment. But the whole thing is Draymond has to stay out of foul trouble with it. But if he does, we've seen Draymond not take AD out of a series, but we've seen Draymond significantly reduce AD's impact on the offensive end in a series before in 2018, in 2015, in the playing game that they played a few years ago. For all those reasons I just listed. So hopefully they just go to that early and often and see if it can really, trigger some things for the Warriors in transition and all that stuff.
I will never understand why Steve Kerr insists on like always having to try his system first. Like, bro, like
Right.
these are the playoffs. LeBron
Right.
has played you before. And why does it like I guess I should give credit that he did it in this game, but it's like too late. Do it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You're watching what's happening.
Right.
In the third quarter, because like, okay, fine, you go into the half and it's sort of close. But in the third quarter, when you see that lead starting to build, switch it up then.
Yep.
Switch it up then.
Yeah. And I do think that third quarter, the main issue that they had was that early run by D'Angelo Russell. They got to do a better job there. I think that was, I think Steph and Clay were kind of taking turns guarding Russell, and he was just kind of like going on a little run by himself there. They just got to tighten that up. That's all that is. Just tighten the defense up on him. No, he's like herky jerky. He, does a lot of the grifting stuff, and he got a quick release sometimes and all that stuff. But you just, crowd his space a little bit, force him downhill because he's not the best finisher,
Right.
and live with those results. But if you let him shoot pull up jump shots, then he can get hot.
Okay. Well, the good thing about the games being so close is that we don't have to wait like several days
Right.
for them because like it was like torture when they lost the first two. And then it's like, oh my God, they're not playing for like 3 more days or whatever it is. And you have to wait. So, yeah. Subs lose, but the vibes, we are not down low here, So we're going to just say we're still at a 7.
Yeah. I say still at a 7. Yeah. I mean, I think what we saw was pretty encouraging.
Exactly. I
Other
agree.
than the loss, right?
Like, we know, y'all, we don't do moral victories over here, but there really was, I was like, oh, they figured it out. They figured it out, at least for what we'd have to see now what Ham comes back to do as an adjustment, but they figured it out.
I just don't know what their adjustment could possibly be. You know what I mean? Like, this is, I want to say this is their best shot other than them shooting better. Like, LeBron was 1 for 8. Maybe he has a game where he's 4 for 8. Like, he's capable of that, from 3 in particular. But as far as schemes and strategies and stuff like that, I just don't see how they counter or what else they can come up with to bother the Warriors. So I guess we just got to see.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it multiple times here already, but like the most encouraging thing to me was because when they got down by 10, I'm just like, all right. I'm not gonna lie, I had started just planning for like it to be a loss, but it was mostly because I was just like, I don't think they're gonna have the energy to try to fight for this tonight because it was just, We applaud Steph for what he did in Game 7, but that's exhausting to do that.
Yeah. And
It's
he looked for
exhausting.
the first 3 quarters. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all rock because I kind of did the heavy lifting 2 days ago.
Right,
So Vanderbilt want to face guard me. I'm gonna just let him have his moments right now. But when it's time for the fourth quarter, the ball's gonna be in my hands, and that's what we saw.
right.
Um,
So
yeah,
yeah, so that's why it's like I sort of prepared for it then, but then when I saw them like fighting back and running and I was like, oh, they okay, all right, I'm with it, and so
hmm
I was like, this would be so great if they can like pull this off, this win. So they just came up a little bit short, but like that was like to me very encouraging that they still fought and also that they went small. Like you could just tell they figured it out and it was like bothering the Lakers, And so that's all you want. I expected a big game. We actually did a poll for Brother from Another, who's the best player in the series, because when we were having a conversation, I said that Stephen Curry's the best player in this series. And they were like, "Oh, is he? Is he? Yes, he is. And so, and the poll, he's leading by a massive margin. But there are all these people in the comments like, oh, I see kids are voting and Anthony Davis. And I'm like, bro, y'all cannot get in a series. I don't even know if you'll get 4 games from Anthony Davis looking like that. Like, what are we doing?
right.
You just played the last series and he's, but even if he is, he's still not the best player.
It'll be clear by the end of this series.
I wasn't worried about it, but it was just so funny because, and then there's still the people who think like ultimately LeBron is still their best player, but he's not.
No, not this version of LeBron, at least.
No. I
No,
think you'll get like a game maybe of just like that sort of peak LeBron, maybe 2, but you're not getting that on multiple nights.
no, and I don't even think he's attempting to do that anymore. He did take 24 shots, but I think um, it's because he played 40 minutes, and the ball was starting to get forced out of AD's hands. But he don't even want to be like that no more. Like he's letting D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves initiate like most of their possessions.
The
He's
man
fine.
tired.
Yeah, he's fine playing off ball and just back cutting and stuff like that. Like he's not playing the same way he used to play. So yeah, it's between Steph and AD, but it's really not. It's clearly Steph, but AD had his game. That's cool.
Right. So he has game. Shout out to him.
Right. It better have been this game after all those days of rest they had.
Right.
We're gonna see if it continues once the Warriors adjust on both ends. The whole Vanderbilt talk, I can't expect that to last very long. He's going to be added to the list of, the Delhi guys. Davion on that list now, Delhi on that list, Patrick Beverly on that list. All the guys that are supposed to be ball hawks that just get under Steph's skin and don't let him catch the ball and stuff. He's barbecue chicken, and it'll be very clear by the end of this series. Like Marcus Smart on that list too.
Word. So let me was there anything more you want to say on this game or any players or anything like that?
I think I always come back to, I think Moody was all right in his 6 minutes. If Dante's not going to give us anything, he was a -7. Give those minutes to Moody.
Yeah, and I also would have liked Moody to get some shots.
Exactly. Right. He's one of those dudes that can break that defense up a little bit. Like if they just playing back, Moody can hit a 3 or 2. I trust his shot much more than I trust Dante's. I trust him defensively in this series more than I trust Dante. Dante is just a little small.
This is sort of so shocking. I don't know if shocking is the right word, but it's surprising to me. Dante was so great for us during the regular season. And he hasn't really been able to have his impact, in this postseason.
Yeah.
And which might be, one of the reasons why the body language was bad. Apparently, he was the unnamed person, not in the article, but on the podcast on Marcus's podcast, apparently he said it. So because the fans were just like, I can't see Dante doing this. And again, I like Dante, so it's not like an issue for me, but I do see a difference in how he's described and talked about in comparison to Jordan Poole. And I don't like it. Because also within it there's undertones there,
For sure.
There's undertones there.
He's a young guy too, though.
Right. I mean, we're not going to make this a heavy conversation today, but like people just need to be mindful of, I mean, like pushing back at me, and I'm just like, do y'all think Marcus Thompson's reporting is incorrect? And I've seen people saying things just like, oh, apparently we don't know what we're talking about because we don't interview them. And I'm just like, are you trivializing having access to the team? Like, of course y'all don't fucking know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Marcus Thompson has been covering this team for how many years, So, but it's more so like the constant references to, and he's not playing smart basketball all the time. I get that, but he's a young player and he's developing. But the constant references to IQ and the just wanting to attack him the moment he makes a mistake, and the refusal to believe that Dante could be one of the guys who, was also, displaying some kind of body language. People are like, well, I didn't see him do it on the bench. What? Do you guys understand that, like, you're only seeing them for like 2.5 hours during the game? Like, you don't know what they do in the locker room, what's said, whatever. And there's like, he'd never do that because when he talks, and bro, what you see publicly is what you should believe the least, because publicly is what people want you to see.
Facts.
Okay, so it's just so funny to me. But so yeah, while I like Dante, it was more so I was like, oh, little golden boy is complaining too or having issues, because I don't like it. Like I said, there's just like some undertones there. Y'all need to clean that up. You know what I'm saying? I don't like it. So but I am surprised by it, and you're not impacting though. You're not, I get because he's earned the respect of Kerr now from the regular season, so he's still going with him, but you're not really being as impactful as you need to be. So if that's going to be the case, then yeah, I'd rather go with Moody.
For sure. I mean, smart.
And I would still like you to go back to Kuminga. I mean, I was not feeling the Kuminga like needing to be like talked to. I get it. He's a young player, so you have to like, talk to him, build him. But I wasn't feeling him like sort of making it about him, like it's sort of like a catch-22, because I don't begrudge any of them for wanting to play. Like, these are young, talented guys. And as I always tell people, like, they're just like, they need to like put their feelings to the side. Why do they need to do that? I said, are you putting, like, if you're in your job, in your career, are you saying, oh, I'm going to put my feelings to the side and let this other person do a job that I know that I think I can do if I'm given the chance? Because, like, the other person may actually be better than you and is helping more, but he's never going to get the chance to develop and show he can do it or try, because it's a catch-22 because he's not being developed.
Right.
Which is why we wanted him to get minutes during the season, which is why you wanted Moody to get minutes during the season, right? Because now when you get to the playoffs, you can't necessarily risk it, but this is why you wanted it to happen. And so it didn't. So I understand the frustration, but it's like, okay, we're in the playoffs right now. So now you're going to really have to like just, and the fact that like Andre had to talk to him and it seemed like Steph and, it was just like, so I was also okay with like her not going back to him in the last series. Cause I'm like, if he's still so in his feelings right now in his head, like, no. But to me, it's like, y'all won, new series now, clean slate. I at least want you to try him out and see. I mean, Jermichael Green could get minutes. And by the way, I don't know, but I just have a sense he's probably also one of the people who was not pleased about his playing time. So I'm like, JaMychal Green could get burned, but Kuminga can't. Which, like people were like, oh, JaMychal. And I'm just like, bro, the moment he shoots and scores, he's like Lamb. He like fouls right after.
Yeah,
So it's
literally.
like he's just giving up what he gives you.
Fouls or gives up an offensive rebound every time or misses a
Yeah.
defensive rotation every time. Like people just see the ball going in the hoop and they associate it with being a positive impact player, and that is not the case. It wasn't the case with Lamb for a lot of the season, and it's not the case with JaMychal. Definitely should see more Kuminga. Just his athleticism is going to help on both ends of the floor. And just
And like
back
you
to
said, because they don't run as many complex actions as the Kings, he'll probably be able to defend and do more on some of these
exactly
guys. Like you put him on like some of those guards,
right.
they're not gonna be able to get by him.
Or you can even try him on LeBron, right? Like try him on LeBron, and you can put like a Wiggins on a D'Angelo Russell or something, so he just has a tougher chance to do all those pull up jumpers and stuff that he was doing. Yeah, I think his athleticism, his energy can bother LeBron a little bit at this point in his career. And just, I mean, back to Dante. Dante is just, he's small. Like it's tough to be a small guard that's not super athletic and be super effective in the playoffs unless you are ridiculously skilled, like a Steph, a Jordan, a Kyrie, like that. And he's not that. He's just a high energy guy, which is perfect for the regular season. But in the playoffs, you need athletes, you need length. Moody's 6'5", 6'6" out there, super long arms, and he can hit a three. Like you can use that much more than you can use what Dante's doing out there, and it shows up in the plus minus. So hopefully we see more Moody and Kuminga, no JaMychal Green, limited if any for Dante, and I think that'll help the bench more.
So yeah, I mean, the thing I wanted to ask you before we go, so I think for the most part, we've had all the game ones played and even some game twos around the league. And I gotta tell you, I think the Knicks are cooked because even though they won tonight, they struggled to win with Jimmy Butler out. And we talked about this because I was just like, the Heat may just choose to rest Jimmy because they came in, they got their split,
Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, well, I don't really believe in giving up a game. So I just assumed like if he didn't play, it would be like such a disparity. But the Heat were in that game. They could have won, which would have been crazy if they would have gone back up 2-0, heading
Mm-hmm.
back to Miami with Jimmy Butler coming back.
Yeah, that series. I mean, I picked the Heat before that series started, mainly because Eric Spoelstra is just a genius, right? That zone that he put up against them, and then obviously like the Heat the players are out there hooping. They're hitting way more threes than they have hit all season. They're shooting way above what their percentages are. We'll see if that can continue, but it might not need to if Jimmy's back and he can carry that load offensively. But yeah, Spoelstra's just kind of coaching circles around Tibbs right now. That's why I picked the Heat.
Yeah, I mean, if Miami just wins their 2 games at home, I mean, I guess the Knicks could come back and force like a game 6, but Jalen is that dude. But I just was like, y'all struggling to beat the Heat right now?
No Jimmy, no Harrow, no Oladipo.
That's sort of wild to me.
Yeah.
That's sort of wild to me. And I think we talked about this already a little bit, but I don't dislike James Harden anymore. And I don't know why. Like, I find myself happy, Like, especially because did you see that video going around with like Friedel? How they were like mocking him and laughing, like, because Max Kellerman was saying, like, you could get like basically a vintage Harden game. He didn't say it in those words, but he's just like, what if, he for a night and they were next, he's like sitting back laughing, clutching it, like, why would you think that? And he's laughing. And I mean, and Monica McNutt is up there sort of like egging him on a little bit, but I mean, it was just so it's like everybody was like, like I quote tweeted that video like, aged like milk, because it's like, and I get it. That's probably how people like Natalie. That's how you are when you like talk about like the other teams. But I don't be like that. Like, even as much as how I am about like the Lakers, I was like, yo, you have LeBron and you have AD. Like, I didn't dismiss them. It was usually about like their role players or something like that. Same thing with the Kings. I gave like the utmost respect to like De'Aaron Fox, Like, James Harden's a former MVP. While I didn't always agree sometimes with them, it's like,
yeah, I mean, I like him too now. I mean, I think it's because he's in the East now. You don't got to see him 3-4 times when they play the Rockets. You don't got to see him in the playoffs. He's obviously, he was never really on Steph's level. He was up there as far as MVP status and stuff like that, but he's no longer like quote unquote a direct threat to Steph, to Steph's like stature as a player or anything anymore. So I think from that standpoint, you just think about him a little less. So when you do think about him, it's like, oh yeah, James Harden is kind of like.
But he used to talk shit back then too,
He did. I remember him saying like they're not even that good.
Right.
We talking about the Warriors, and now he's just like in the background, kind of underrated at this point.
And plus, Chris Paul was on the team. Anytime you add Chris Paul to your team, you become very unlikable.
Yeah.
So it's just so funny to me because it's just. I'm sorry. I know you keep seeing me looking. It's because there's this fly in my home. I don't know how I got in here, but it was like parked on the wall for so long. And I'm like, I'm going to get that bitch as soon as the thing is done. And then now it started flying.
I was wondering, I'm like, what is she looking at? It's like,
fucking fly. Like, where the hell you came in from? Because I don't, even my windows in my crib. See, I think she just went up over there. Because I have screens. I have screens in my crib. So there's no like just flying in through the windows. So I'm like, how does bitch got in my crib?
Damn.
I don't like insects.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm sorry. So yeah, but so I just, and the Celtics are my team. So the fact that, not my team, they're my team. I like the Celtics. You know that. Everyone knows that. But I do. I like the Celtics. They're just never allowed to beat the Warriors, but I want them to beat everybody else. So the fact that I'm enjoying like him doing this to the Celtics is crazy. On top of that. And I was just like, he made y'all look stupid. So whatever. I mean, the Celtics, that was like a bad loss. I don't want to get into that, but that's a bad loss. Like, Joel Embiid is not there.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Joel Embiid, who won the MVP.
Yeah, he looked so happy. He looked so like that weight was off his shoulders when they announced it. Like, yeah,
I am so happy for him. I mean, look, if the thing about it is, you would still say at this stage that Tatum is a better player than Harden?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, Harden is just capable. He's capable of having a game or two or even three of that caliber in a playoff series. But I just think when you look at the whole picture, the entire season and stuff like that, Tatum, yeah, he definitely got Harden. Right,
so yeah, I would still rank Tatum over Harden, but like if you can get that version of Harden for 2 or 3 games, at least 2 games without Embiid, you give the Sixers a chance.
Yeah.
You give the Sixers a chance, and that's the thing. And so it's just like, because that Harden is better than Jason Tatum. Right? Yeah. It's like it's because that's tapping into prime Harden. And prime Harden is for sure
right
a higher caliber player than Jason Tatum.
Than current Tatum. Yeah.
So that's why it's like interesting to me. I think the Celtics will take the next game, but like I just don't think you want it to be like a close and tight series with Joel Embiid possibly coming back. They
Yeah.
played differently. They played differently with Joel, but it just, I don't know. So yeah, but I just find myself liking James Harden, and so that's like sort of my revelation. I'm still trying to process that. And then I want to know, Denver. I want to know, Justin. Are we not giving? And it's probably me, not you, so I shouldn't say we. But is Denver not being given enough respect? Because people are really high off of these. The way they dominated the Wolves and sort of have dominated the Suns. And I'm like, bro, these teams are not real. I'm not saying that Jokic is incredible. I really hate that it's become that it seems like I'm a Jokic hater because I really do like the man and I find him funny unintentionally.
Yeah.
He's a tremendous player, but I'm like, bro, y'all are like really gassing this right now. Like you didn't even see Bubble Murray in game 2. I know he doesn't like that, but that's what I'm saying. He went off in game 1. Everyone's like, oh, see Jamal. You ain't even saying game 2 at home. That's what I'm saying about him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like when I call that out, it seems like I'm a hater, but I'm just like, bro,
No, I feel you. But remember, I said like you expect Jokic to be Jokic over the course of a full series, and he showed up and he made up for the gap that Jamal
right.
Murray left in that second game from game 1. But I mean, I don't think we're selling Denver any short or anything like that. Like we knew going into the series that Phoenix has no bench. Chris Paul's washed, and now he's out of the series for the next 3 games because he's old.
They're done. Suns are done. Are they getting swept?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think they can take a game or maybe even 2 games.
Still?
They missed shots in Denver. Denver only scored 97 points last game. Like their defense was a little better on both
Right now,
sides.
Katie ain't beating the allegations.
If he gets swept or if he get beaten 5 against this Denver team, he not beating the allegations because the shots are
He
there.
also was not looking great out there.
Right. The shots are there. Just put Jokic in a pick and roll. The shot is there. Denver has more depth. That's why I think they ultimately win the series over the course of it. But the way Book is playing right now, if KD kind of joined the party a little bit, they can definitely extend this series to 6 or 7 games. But yeah, it's the Suns. No depth. It's just 2
But without
stars and
Chris
a bunch of
Paul, like Katie and them are still someone who they don't need it, but someone kind of setting them up a little bit is still helpful to them.
yeah. Book might have to go a little bit more point guard Book, and then maybe his scoring dips a little bit, but it helps KD go for his 35 or 40, and that can be a way that you got to win at that point.
Because who's gonna probably campaign?
Yeah, campaign probably starts. They just don't got a great team out of that. After
No,
those 2, 3
they
guys,
don't. And
that's why
Aiton
it's
is,
like
like we said, soft. You saw that video of him talking about what did he say they call him? They call him, he said some bullshit.
dominating.
Huh? Dominating? I'm like, who
Dominating.
calls you that?
Nobody. He calls himself that shit.
I've never heard him call that before ever in my life.
I've only heard him say it. I've heard him say it before, like training camp. I think training camp. He was doing media day this season, and he was like, "Yeah, dominating out," and then he was like, "Mic drop." I'm like, "This nigga's so corny." Like,
No, but it was funny because did you see on Twitter? It was like they showed that video, and then they showed the video of him basically like just staring, like
watching people go for rebounds. Bro is so weak. He is so weak.
Oh my god! And it was so funny because did you see that video with like Lexi Brown? She was talking to Gilbert.
Don't like him.
I don't like him.
Like, you know what? I get it. I get it. I don't like that guy either. Spitting. But yeah, this is why we're not selling Denver short, because I mean, they played the Timberwolves without a few of their players, got them out of there, but they lost one game, and the last game was close. Anthony Edwards was one shot away from sending that to OT. They could have lost that game. Anthony Edwards put up historic numbers against them. Now Book is kind of cooking them, but they're just losing, which they lost on the road. They haven't seen, I don't think, anything that, either the Lakers or the Warriors would be able to present to them. Um, so yeah, or even a team in the East like the Sixers or the Celtics or something like that. Like,
Yeah, everyone's just like, I just don't understand why people just get so fooled by this stuff. When I say fooled, again, I'm not saying like still doing what Jamal, Murray's doing what Jokic is doing. It's still phenomenal. Like, I don't want to minimize what they're doing. But then when people go and say like, oh, yeah, they're just like the prize for like the team coming out of the Lakers Warriors is like to get trounced by Denver. I'm like, bro, that's not happening.
not
Like,
happening.
why? Yeah, either team. If either team advances, that's not happening.
Right. Right. I mean, I think the Warriors would for sure beat Denver. It might be a longer series because they don't have home court advantage. Um, but yeah, I think I would take the Lakers against them too.
And I wasn't even saying that the Lakers will win, but like they're not getting swept. They're not getting
Right.
gentlemen.
They're not getting
Like what? Like what are y'all? What are y'all watching them beat up on the Wolves and the Suns? And this is your takeaway because of that? Because y'all overestimated and overhyped the Suns to begin with?
Thank you.
It don't make no sense to me. So I'm just like, and then that's why I come off like a hater because I'm like, bro, like they're not beating no real teams right now. Like we're not gonna get hype off of that. So, whatever. But I just, thought it was interesting. But the Suns are cooked.
They are cooked. They were cooked a while ago.
They were, but
When we saw them struggling to
agenda.
beat the Clippers without Paul George or Kawhi Leonard, that's when it was clear that they were.
Yeah, I really think if
really
Kawhi was able to play, they win that series. I don't even think they needed Paul George for it, to be honest.
right. I agree.
Mm, 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 mm. Woo, I tell you. And then they just let this the Heat team, they were able to get a game. Jimmy Butler was able to get a game off these Celtics. Kevin Durant couldn't. Kevin Durant and Kyrie couldn't. So that's now Trae Young, Jimmy Butler, all these teams who are playing a better version of the Celtics, by the way. One that has Malcolm Brogdon. None of them getting swept. But KD got swept, and he just gets bail posted for him.
We know how it goes. It's been like this for a while.
Yeah. Well, and you see the conversations are starting. I'm sure you're seeing them on the news, on the sports talk, and on the TL. It seems right now to be a lot of the Steph Magic one, but we talked about last episode. If you putting him in conversations with Magic or above him, then you're saying he's right up there. So it's all happening, Justin. So it's just funny to watch or interesting. So anyway, I look forward to the rest of these playoffs, and the Lakers got their W, but I expect us to bounce back. So we're going to think positively. We'll be back on Thursday, right?
Yep.
Thursday, y'all. So stay positive, stay hopeful. Justin and I will figure out the live watch because we're already being asked about when we gonna do it, but we gonna do it.
Exactly. It's coming.
I guess we can't plan too far ahead. We probably do need to try to do it in this series.
Right.
So it doesn't seem like, presumptuous. I'm superstitious. I don't, the opponent's here. So I chirp a little bit, but I want to still respect the opponent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, but we'll figure it out and let y'all know. And thank you for your interest in even wanting to like be with us. That's dope.
Facts.
That's dope. Yeah. We should maybe put out a mailbag. So when we do the next episode, get some mailbag questions after this year's series. Because that would be after game 2, and the series will be shifting. Yeah, so we'll do that too. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in with us. Hope you enjoyed the combo. Yeah, we appreciate y'all for sure, for sure. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And if you are already following us on Instagram and we're wondering why does bitch keep telling us to follow on Instagram and then they don't post anything, that's on me. It's on me. It's been my bad. Life has just kind of taken priority, but we're in the playoffs. So we started reposting back to Instagram. Okay. So the account was kind of dormant for a while, but we back. We back in business. So follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Golden Spaces Pod. Subscribe to 95.7 The Game's YouTube channel. You can find our episodes there. If you're ever wondering how to get to the episodes, because you're like, well, it gets buried, just go to the playlist tab and there's a Golden Spaces tab. But the only way you're going to be able to even subscribe to 95.7 The Game. And if you do that, you'll be uploaded every time there's any new episode from them uploaded to the channel, and that will include Golden Spaces. But also you can just go to the playlist, like I said, and all the episodes are there from most recent to, going back to when we started going on YouTube. So do that as well. Leave us a positive review. Don't be talking about Justin's voice. Don't be saying crazy things about me. If you can't say anything nice, then don't leave the review. If you're going to leave a review, we only accept positive reviews, okay? And then also, please give us a 5-star rating and just continue to support. Tell a friend. We appreciate y'all. Until next time, guys, take care.